Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have agreed on a one-year contract with free agent cornerback Tavierre Thomas. This is according to Rick Stroud, Jeremy Fowler, among a lot of other people as well. Now, as we know, Tavierre Thomas had visited with the Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions this past week and finally decided to come to an agreement with the Bucs. And this is a signing that I think could be sneakily underrated for the Bucs. We don't have these specifics on a contract yet. If I had to guess, it may be some type of veteran minimum type of deal, but this could be a low-key good move for the Bucs. Tavierre Thomas, 5'10", 205 pounds, previously played with the Cleveland Browns for 3 seasons from 2018 to 2020 and with the Houston Texans from 2021 to 2023. During his time with Cleveland was mainly a special teams guy, as you guys can see in the snap counts over here on the right-hand side. Played 53%, 84%, and 80% of the special team snaps for the Browns during his time there. Did get a little bit more of defensive playing time in 2020, playing 19% of defensive snaps. Then in 2021 to 2023, was really a starter for the Texans. 56% of defensive snaps in 2021, 60% of defensive snaps in 2020, 60% of defensive snaps in 2023. Still had a very strong presence on special teams with 67%, 56%, and 54% in those 3 years. And one thing that I think is going to be very interesting is, first off, Tavierre Thomas has 2 years of playoff experience, once with the Houston Texans in the 2023 season and with Baker Mayfield in the Cleveland Browns back in the 2020 season. Baker Mayfield and Tavierre Thomas are technically both a part of the same draft class. Tavierre Thomas was undrafted in 2018. Baker Mayfield was the number 1 overall pick in the 2018 NFL draft. So pretty interesting there that these two guys are rejoining forces with the Buccaneers moving forward. But I say all that to say this: why do I think this could be a low-key good move for the Bucs? Why do I think that? Well, I say that to say this. We're going to go over to ProFootballFocus.com, and we're going to take a look at Tavierre Thomas's numbers. We did this whenever he visited the Bucs, but I want to do it again. Taking a look at 2023, a 72.2 grade for his 2023 player grade. In 2022, a 70.0 player grade. In 2021, a 77.6 player grade. These are very good for a guy who, again, was essentially a starter during his time with the Houston Texans those 3 years. He's playing over 50%, if not 60% of snaps every single year, and he's still putting up those very solid grades. That's very encouraging in my opinion. Now, it also could be factoring in his special teams work into that grade as well, but still, I do believe it is encouraging. You take a look at the past 3 years, allowed a 61 completion percentage in 2021, a passer rating of 63.3, a 62.1 completion percentage in 2022, a passer rating of 72.8, and then 2023, things did tail off a little bit, a 78.8 completion percentage, a passer rating of 111.6, but if we get more of that 2021 and 2022 Tavierre Thomas than the 2023, the Bucs may have a guy who could compete for a legitimate starting job on their hands. Now, he has played left cornerback, he has played nickel cornerback in the past as well. Really, the majority of his work has been as a nickel cornerback. So it's going to be interesting to see him compete with the guy that the Buccaneers had that position at last year, Christian Izien. Now, are they going to want to use Christian Izien more in that role? Are they going to have him compete at backup safety? I don't know, but this is some pretty good, legitimate competition, in my opinion. Also, I think it speaks to Tavierre Thomas's interest in the Bucs, considering the guy is from Detroit, Michigan. He visited his hometown Detroit Lions and still decided to sign with the Bucs. That's got to be some good indications as well that Thomas does genuinely want to compete with the Bucs, be brought in, and see what we can do here. So I'm very intrigued by this signing. This is one of the more enjoyable low-key signings the Buccaneers have made so far. They brought in Bryce Hall, big cornerback, to possibly compete at outside cornerback with Zyon McCollum. We talked about that in a separate video. And now you're bringing in Tavierre Thomas to compete at that nickel cornerback spot as well. But at the very least, Tavierre Thomas is your number 4 cornerback, maybe even your number 3 cornerback, rotating on the outside, rotating at nickel as well. That's a pretty good spot to be in my opinion, because he's been a part of now 3 different head coaches with the Texans. David Culley, of course, Lovie Smith was the defensive coordinator, former Buccaneers head coach. Then Lovie Smith became the head coach of the Texans, was still calling defensive plays. But then you have DeMeco Ryans. So a lot of change in the coaching structure of the Texans the past 3 years, and Tavierre Thomas was still a starter all 3 years, and a good starter at that. All that to say this, very excited to see what Tavierre Thomas can do competing for that starting nickel job. And ultimately, you know, he's going to be 28 years old now at the start of this upcoming season. Pretty cool signing, in my opinion. One of the more exciting new faces brought in. I would even go as far as to say this is the second most exciting signing, new face the Bucs have brought in besides Jordan Whitehead. So we'll see what Tavierre Thomas does. Welcome to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Going to be excited to see how he gets along. But guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions about this signing down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. And as always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.